Okay, here we go. Here is the antler that I did get stitched down. It's not a big deal, just a flat piece stitched down. And the next piece is this piece, number 7, which I have already removed from my large piece. It was right here. And what I just want to mention real quick, this is a tricky cutout. The number 7 is right here, but there are numbers for other things very near. So you see that you need to make sure that you leave each number with the piece. Don't accidentally cut a number off. That will really give you trouble later on. So this is a tricky cutout here out of this to keep all of that still intact. And then now this particular piece is going to be a tricky cutout, and it does tell us, oops, grabbed too many papers, embroider everything but the hoof on the deer. So when we look over here at our piece, and again, my piece is not cut out, but see, we've got these black dots here. These are here, right here, right here, right here. Looks like we've got a piece right here. Okay, and we've got it here. We've got his mouth. We've got some black solid satin stitch for his nose, and it looks like we've got some more satin, black satin for his eyes. I'm not sure what this black dots are. Let's see what that is. 2 strands, outline stitch, 2 strands of dark brown. Okay, so that's what that's going to be. So in the meantime, we are going to cut this piece out. And how I decide where to cut is I want a place that is close to the line that I can come in easily and get on the inside of that line. And again, this is going to be a tricky and a pretty slow cut here. We have a lot of curves and just a lot of detail we've got to get. And just go slow and be careful. Make sure that you are cutting on the outside of the line. Don't accidentally, like I just thought there, oh, I need to go in here and then cut there. No, be sure that you are cutting on the very outside most lines here. And again, keeping a little tension on your fabric does help. Sometimes it's hard to get some tension when you're just starting and you're kind of right on the edge. But this is what makes these reindeer really kind of cool in this kit, is all the detail anatomically to their horse-like nature. Now here's the hoof piece we're not going to embroider until we are stitching. We have it all stitched down. Okay, here we are with the embroidery done on the reindeer here. Let me put my glasses on. See better that way. Okay, I see that this little bit, now this was the outline stitch done with a single strand of black, and it dropped a little bit under that line, that white line. So I'm going to try to get it back up where it needs to be. If I can't, then you always have the scratch method to just remove the black or the white line in this case. That's pretty good. Okay, and so we have two more embroideries to do, and that is the eye with a satin stitch of 2 strands of black, and the nose with a satin stitch, 2 strands of black. So let's get those going here. And because I want strands, I am going to bring the ends together and knot them so that I have 2 strands here. And let's begin with the eye. And beginning satin stitch always in the center of the space that you're wanting to fill, and then working in and out with stitches that are right next to each other and to the outside of one area. I did not get that one close enough, so we'll go back down right there. There we go. And get one more small stitch there to make it look a little more round. There we go. And then I always turn my work over and go and work on the other direction. This will only be maybe 1 or 2 more stitches and it'll be done on this side. Let's see what that looks like. There we go. And then I'm just going to fasten it off. A couple of knots here. And then I'm going to have to rethread because I definitely don't have enough to do the nose. And as always, my trusty thread conditioner. And my single strand gets knotted both ends together to become that double strand that we need. And trim. And now, again, satin stitch starting in the center of the space you want to fill. And because I cannot go down right at the edge of the felt, it will just shred. I'm going to go all the way around and come back up and do this satin stitch this way, totally encasing the end of the felt there in the floss. And just continue around the nose, letting that floss just go all the way around and encase that edge. I have to admit, I was tempted to do this in red floss so that he would be more like Rudolph, but I'm following the pattern instructions here. Now, I don't want to go down. I don't want to come back up because I'm done. So I'm just going to go through the back like this so that I can end up on the other side. But I do want to guide that floss and be sure that it is tight and right next to that. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing, just go in the other direction. Coming up here right at the edge of my last stitch. And again, going all the way around the felt and encasing that edge. I think I'm going to come up again there. This is where you can see that if you pull it too tight, you could end up with the spaces that you don't want to see there. I just need to go right there. See if I can get it to go right where I want it to cover that space right there. And whoops, I pulled it too tight again. Opened up that space. There we go. Okay. Now we just need to tie it off. Looks like my knot turned into a knot. But I think I can just lay that down there and goodness sakes, these reindeer legs really get in the way. All right. Make sure the front side still looks right. Like that a little bit of that brown is showing through. There we go. Now, he is ready to be attached to the stocking. And he's a little bit of a complicated attachment here. We're going to have some interesting things going on, so I wanted to be sure I got back on the video so that you can see that. So I'm going to get some pins here. So we need to make sure that we've got his nose and his face here right at the edge of the stocking, right at the edge of the felt, and that our other lines here are lining up, but also covering all the white lines. And now you can see, this was what confused me initially at first, is I've got a white line here, and it should trail down to here and then come across here. That's going to be the reins, so we are not covering up this white stitch or white lines right there. But we need to come down here to his leg and his hoof and get that in line right there. And that covers all those markings. And we need to line up where his tail is going to be attached right there. You can see we've got it lined up with his harness, so we can attach it right there. And then we need to be sure that his legs are right where they should be. Back legs. Okay. And that looks right. Now I am okay, so let's go through this section of directions again, because it was a larger section. So it says for everything but the hoof on deer 7, which we did. His eyes, nose, mouth, and all of his kind of creases there. Stuff and applique the deer to the stocking. So this is one of the cases where we are going to, I believe here, what I'm going to do is start stitching him right here by his antler and go around here and down to here. Then it says, a chenille stick cut to size was used for stuffing the thin areas of the legs, which was right here. So I'm going to get out that chenille stick that I cut. Of course, it's moved all around here in my box, so let me find it. Here it is. We'll probably need to cut it again. I'm probably going to just use it right there and cut it off right about there, I think. And I have to get my utility scissors. Do not use your good crafting scissors to cut a chenille stick. Remember, there's wires there. If I cut it off about right here, that will give me enough stuffing for right there. And then I can continue with the stuffing in here. All right, I apologize. I'm having some audio trouble, so I'll voice over here. So I am going to cut this stick and insert it in the leg there. I will let you see that. I'm going to insert another one that I'm going to cut over for the back 2 legs, just a single stick, single chenille stick. Then I will continue stitching until I get about up to where his tail is going to be attached, and that should give me plenty of room to insert some stuffing right in kind of in the top of his back there, and then I'll be able to finish and close it all up. So again, utility scissors to cut your chenille stick. Do not ruin your good sewing scissors with that. And the rest will be just stitching it all in and down and stuffing it. Here we're going to begin stitching this applique piece down. So this will be just the normal applique stitch until we get right here to the edge of our stocking. I did have a viewer ask a question about how you did the applique stitch when it was right over the edge of the stocking. So here I will show you. You're really going to do it kind of just like you did the satin stitch for the nose, in that you're going to go all the way around the edge of the felt and come up each time from the back. Now, right here, you do need to be cautious when you are going to be stitching where you've got that satin stitch. You want to make sure that your stitch is not going to show and kind of separate that satin stitch on you. So just kind of use your needle, comb that down, make sure. But mostly your stitches, if you can, you want to do to either side of your embroidery. But this nose did need one stitch in the center. Then as long as I'm on the edge, I'm going to continue to go all the way around the felt coming in from the back, and stitching that down. And when we get to attaching the back, I will show you how we work on that when it's right at the edge. But when you come back to where you can get a nice bite into the felt, then you're able to go back to doing the standard applique stitch again, and continue that all the way around until you get to where you're going to insert the chenille stick. And that again is also going to be just a standard applique stitch, and I do it just like I do any other applique stitch, where I stitch about halfway without anything inside of the piece, and then insert the chenille stick once I've got it about halfway, and I can insert that in, and then stitch around the edge of the leg to totally enclose that chenille stick. That will be coming up here in just a moment. Now it's time to do that satin stitch at the edge of his hoof there. And we're going to do that satin stitch again with the 2 strands of black, and we're going to do it just like we did for the other hoof. This will be the only hoof left on this reindeer. The back 2 hoofs do end up getting covered by another reindeer. So we only are going to stitch this one, and we're going to do it just like we did the other one, where I'm going to begin in the center, and I am going to go all the way around. It's not really all the way around, but you're going to go back in after you pass just the edge of that felt, so that it, in all intents and purposes, encases the edge of that felt, because you're actually going into the blue background felt, and you're going to make that be really solid, just like you did the other black embroidery. Now I'll let you in on a little secret here. If for some reason you get done with this and you see that you just cannot get all of that brown felt covered, and there's just some peeking out in some little spots, and it's bothersome, find yourself a nice black Sharpie and color in that felt. Now, don't tell anybody I told you that. And certainly don't do it for very big space. You only want it to be a very small space, but it does help to color that underneath felt up, so that you can just move on to the next piece, so it doesn't just drive you nuts by going over and over and over it. So just wanted to let you know that. And here you go. Let's finish this up.